You can join us starting tomorrow for
WeatherScope. Lots of things to talk about, including a tough time getting around, especially in the Northeast in the morning. We're talking about some snow. That's what we're talking about. And also some ice into parts of New England as a winter storm is moving your way. Hello, I'm Paul Emick.
And I'm Dave Schwartz. Areas around the Great Lakes getting hit with snow, too.
It's like Detroit.
Detroit, Chicago, back into the Dakotas, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Let's have a look at it. Let's have a look at the latest series of players here. We've got the moisture, as denoted here in our infrared satellite imagery by the white that extends from the eastern Gulf of Mexico. By the way, these are thunderstorms that will reinvigorate later on tonight and tomorrow and sweep across Florida with the threat of severe weather, with the approach of this upper-level disturbance over the Texas Panhandle. That's kind of an ancillary element here. But we got the moisture streaming northward into the Northeast. And you remember about, what, a week and a half ago when they had that ice storm? It's the same setup. It's clear, it's cold there tonight, and more ice for the Northeast is our forecast. Here we go. We're going to start off as snow, but then mix over with some sleet and freezing rain. Now tonight, low pressure is over the Gulf of Mexico. That moves north. High pressure over southeast Canada moves east. Cold air is left in place in interior sections. Meanwhile, warm, humid air will overrun that moist air here at the surface. That'll change rain to snow in New York City on Friday morning, and from snow to rain, make that in New York City Friday morning, and snow to rain in Boston on Friday night. But in interior sections where the cold air remains, and that cold air is very dense, the warm air will overrun the cold air. It'll be warm enough in the clouds to rain and cold enough at the surface to freeze. That's what we're concerned about. Current temperatures, look at them as the cold air comes southward out of Canada. 12 degrees above in Albany, 4 below in Bangor. And this cold air will be slow to be scoured out. Here in Boston and New York City, the winds will pick up strongly out of the east to southeast. And wind off the water is, quite frankly, warmer this time of year than it is off the land, especially when it's a north wind coming down from the Arctic regions. There's your overrunning precipitation, at least overrunning moisture right now. Everything moving in from the southwest, while at the surface, winds are coming in from the north. Leading edge of that precipitation now into Pennsylvania, where it's mostly snow. from the Poconos, just getting in on some light snow right now, back into Pittsburgh where it's raining. Here on the west side of the Appalachians, temperature will actually be a little bit milder than it will be even here in Philadelphia. We're looking for a little bit of snow here over the next hour or two, and then that will change over to rain for morning rush hour just in time. But here in New York City, it's still dry. By the time the precipitation gets in here, it will be of the snow variety by morning rush hour. So be advised of that. An inch or two are possible in North Jersey, the entire tri-state area. And then further north, the period of snow before it changes over to ice or rain will be longer. So that's why we're calling for 3 to 6 inches from the shores of Lake Ontario back into the Berkshires. And here in the Midwest, well, we've got the same, not the same general activity, not the Arctic cold, but it's just cold enough. Plus, we're on the west side of that low, so we are also getting some northeasterly winds here too. Overrunning precipitation. It's snowing in Detroit, snowing west on 94 and 96, back toward Battle Creek and Grand Rapids. Watch the driving here, even into Toledo, some snow. Here's our snow and rain line. A little bit of sleet looks like on radar just to the north of Fort Wayne. In Chicago, the rainfall is tapering off, but we've got 5 or 6 inches on the ground out there tonight. Temperature at 32 degrees, so a slushy morning commute. Milwaukee with some snow, Twin Cities with some snow, back into the Dakotas on Interstate 94. Further south, it's been all rain. Indianapolis and Columbus, though a cold rain. Down near the Gulf Coast, it's been a warm rain, but lots of it. Paul?
That's right, that same weather system we talked about moving across the southeast earlier for the day, well, it triggered powerful storms and a lot of rain in some areas. These storms that rolled into Tallahassee just in time for the evening rush hour. Had some rain, very heavy at times around the state capitol, but no damage reported. Just the streets that were pretty wet around the big city of Tallahassee there. Nice place, and very stormy tonight. Well, yeah, things are a little quieter now in some parts of Florida. We have to have a lot of things in place to kick off strong storms. You have to have lift, you have to have moisture, and you have to have instability. Well, if you see the warm front moving this way, that's a little batch leading edge of warmer air, barbs pointing that way, show you which way it's moving. Like the barbs in the cold air show it's trying to edge this way. The warm air is back here across Florida, across South Georgia, meaning it's got more moisture content to it. A little warmer air can hold more of it, and a little better lift is going on tonight. Now, we're not dealing with as much of that in the southern parts of Florida. That's why we're not seeing as much wet or stormy weather. In the low levels and the mid levels of the atmosphere, there's what we call a cap, meaning it's not a real favorable spot tonight. For example, Tampa or Palmetto, not as favorable for very strong storms now, but that will be changing. End of the day tomorrow, even around Brooksville, could be seeing some very stormy conditions, maybe toward Orlando and around Haines City, too.